Hi, this is Akshay Sharma, CTO of Kovair Software, where I'll be talking today about transitioning IT from a cost center to a value center using value stream management platform solutions, value stream delivery platform solutions, and iPaaS, integration platform as a service solutions as well. A bit about myself, been in the industry for a couple of decades. Early in my career, I was one of the original engineers in what's called Object Time. For those that don't know, this was a division within Nortel back in the early 90s. Its main claim to fame is Object Time became Rational Rose Real Time. As you know, Rational merged with Objectory, merged with quite a few companies and products. Uh, then IBM acquired a lot of these assets as well and made it IBM Rational Suite. I also worked for Telelogic Doors, and interestingly enough, both companies, Object Time and Telelogic, I morphed them towards UML, Unified Modeling Language. Now, guess what? We're in this low code, no code, model driven paradigm, and we had this back in the 90s. So, what was great then has come back. So, it'll be interesting how that plays out too. So, what I'm going to talk about today is how you can use VSMP, VSDP concepts, but I'll also sprinkle in cybersecurity because that's one of the critical pieces in the equation that we all need to address. And it's one of the toughest things to also address from a value perspective. Typically cybersecurity is like an insurance policy. It's like something you need to have, like door locks, like a fire alarm. We may get, discounts on our insurance or on our homeowners insurance by having these things. Well, we get value from having, a web application firewall, having role-based access controls with whitelists, blacklists, having secure enterprise service bus or iPaaS offerings integrated with our exposed APIs that are no longer exposed. And so there could be value there. Plus, our IT professionals and our cybersecurity professionals can be professional service engineers for customers or partners, and there could be a monetization event associated with the value they provide. So, how do we do all this? Well, we're going to see a lot of project management, portfolio management, product lifecycle management. We may have a legacy ALM, the old waterfall model of delivery of application lifecycle management. But now the new concept is leveraging this lifecycle management concept and applying it to APIs. So the new ALM, API lifecycle management, with process workflows, with automation, with low code, no code. The old case tool and model driven approaches of the 90s come back. Doing this with security and governance in mind, risk management, with various solutions in mind, and hopefully doing this with monetization in mind and invoicing capabilities too. So as we go down this journey, we're going to see a lot of different solutions from capturing the needs of the customer to planning to, of course, the product delivery process to then customer value metrics. You know, getting an invoice paid, there's value right there. But there's other metrics, customer satisfaction scores. There's could be customer churn rates that have decreased over time. These could be valuable metrics as well. So I mentioned VSDP. VSDP stands for Value Stream Delivery Platforms, and they provide fully integrated capabilities to enable continuous delivery of solutions. These could be planning, version control, continuous integration, test automation, release orchestration, continuous deployment, maybe even rollback. Maybe you find something is not correct when you deploy it in the field based on your metrics and your measurements, your application performance monitoring. and you need to roll back to the last known state. Having that capability is crucial. Being able to monitor all of this, being able to have security vulnerability assessments, ideally done earlier in the process rather than later. And then, of course, analyzing business value throughout this entire journey. And it is a journey, it's not a destination. So we're going to see continuous improvements, continuous delivery, continuous monitoring with security and compliance in mind, with team metrics in mind, with value stream metrics to the business in mind. And we're going to do this with platform governance, with process compliance in mind as well. Now, we do have a lot of this, but it might be done in ad hoc tools, might be done in silos, might be done in meetings, might be done with emails and Excel spreadsheets to capture this, this, and that. What if this was all integrated with complete dashboards, complete cohesive integrated solutions, complete end-to-end capabilities that are intertwined with orchestration and native support in these platforms, that these platforms actually talk to each other in a secure manner with role-based access controls, with disaster recovery as a service built in. What if that were all done? Well, that would be great. And so this is the process we're going through. We're going to have a lot of the VSMP that you see in the bottom right corner, but we may have other tools and metrics like containerization. You may hear about things like Kubernetes, containerization and orchestration of these containers. We're going to have application security vulnerability test tools, hopefully done with shift left testing. As you bring open source modules into your development environment, being able to test and monitor and measure for compliance and being able to mitigate any issues before they become part of your core development team project. Having automated test tools, having integrated development environments. I mentioned low code, no code. Well, guess what? These were called case tools at one time. And then having planning tools that allow for agile delivery of all this. So as you're going down this journey, it would be great to have all of this integrated with the right dashboard, the right metrics, but even having a service catalog where you could then post your products and have customers buy these products. Well, we already have that. You could say there's various marketplaces out there. But what about for your IT staff? Being able to do that and sell the professional services of the staff members. What about APIs? That's a product. Now you can expose APIs, but you're not exposing your API. You may expose your third-party service bus, enterprise service bus vendor's API, or the iPaaS vendor's API, and that becomes an extra buffer, which I'll get into in a few slides. So as we go down this journey, we're going to have a lot of metrics. The DORA reports, your DevOps reports, your lead time to deliver, let's say, bug fixes. How early do you find out? How quickly do you deliver the solution or the patch? How frequently do you deliver? How about new enhancements, new product releases? How quick do you deliver those based on customer requests? Your continuous integration and continuous delivery. How quick are these? How quick is your test tools, your test automation? Do you have the right metrics to inform your management teams to make the right decisions at the right time? Do you have role-based access control to all of these things? Do you have the correct authorization? All of these need to be measured. And as we're going down this journey, how do you organize yourself? Because ironically, in the 60s, a fellow by the name of Melvin Conway made the astute observation that an organization's software reflects the organization itself. So if you've got a monolithic organization, they'll produce monolithic software. If you've got more of a lean, mean, modular organization, they'll produce modular code. Now, it doesn't have to be always the case, but in my experience, it pretty much is bang on. It's very reflective, and I think there's something to be said there. How do you how do you organize your IT staff? Are they in monolithic IT departments, or are they sprinkled in every lean, mean business unit? Same thing with your cybersecurity staff. Are they everywhere in in each organization? And maybe you could say that's a management nightmare for the CIO, the CISO. Well, maybe it's matrix organized, where they have line of business management requirements that they feed into their deliverables with the value metrics for that organization, and they have learnings that they share to the entire team of IT staff or their cybersecurity staff. And so they could be matrix that way. And so this way you can have a composable business that reflects the business values. So as you're going down this path, you're going to identify the roles and responsibilities of all the team members and what tools, what APIs, what processes they can they can have access to, but also what professional services they could provide to end customers or end partners in a monetization event. Same thing with your APIs. Now your API becomes a product. Just like any product will have product lifecycle management, your APIs can have an API lifecycle management attached to it with the right quality metrics and security metrics identified. Who's using it? How is it used? What contextual ways it's being used? And do you have vulnerability assessments being done? Do you have web application firewalls? Do you have disaster recovery as a service built into that API? And if you don't, can you put an enterprise service bus or an iPaaS offering that does provide all of that? So you don't expose your API, you expose the third party vendor's API. That could be an extra buffer. So as you're going down this journey, we'll have legacy, waterfall code perhaps, like ALM. We may have DevOps, we may have DevSecOps with security, and we may invoke the right test tools along the way. And we're going down a process workflow with the right metrics as we're measuring all of this, with ideally monetization of everything, of the APIs, of your products, and your professional services that you're providing. So as we're going down this path, I mentioned the roles and responsibilities of your staff members. These could be internal or they could be external. They could be outsourced engineers, maybe with some IT services company that you've contracted with. And then your customers could be internal and external. You could be producing software for another department within your company, or you could be doing it for a business partner and their company, and there could be different monetization metrics. If it's within your own company, you may have, you could say, pseudo dollars to capture the metrics. There's no real money exchange, but it's one department, contracting with another department. If it's a business partner, maybe there's no money exchange there, but there's value that's measured. And maybe there's some discounts or some rev share approach that is done with that business partner. And then if it's an end customer, maybe there's some monetization for that service provided to the end customer. So these things can be captured. And then as you go down, you may capture all of the different metrics to the business. And hopefully you're doing this with business drivers in mind. Hopefully this is the value to the business. It's customer satisfaction scores, it's churn minimization metrics, it's actual revenue to the business. And ideally, you're doing all this within dashboards that are meaningful, that are done in real time, that are secure, that are exact, that are accurate to the business. And so I mentioned also APIs, and I mentioned the fact that secure APIs are a must. Um, Gartner has predicted that the number one security vulnerability in 2022, and I know we're only one third the way through it, will be exposed APIs. So this was a prediction they made, I believe, in 2019, that the number one uh, attack vector will be through exposed APIs. And this can be mitigated through enterprise service buses and iPaaS offerings that have role-based access controls, that have encryption, that have disaster recovery as a service built in, that have a lot of the building blocks that you need built in. So one of the things you could look for is a vendor that has an iPaaS offering along with the VSMP, VSDP solutions that are out there. And this all could be part of an ideation dialogue where you are ideating what if scenarios. What if I drag and drop, SAP or Oracle Financials? Or what if I connect this with my solution team? What if I have this API exposed through the enterprise service bus to this customer? And then having the metrics that say, hey, I just gained so much cost savings, so much efficiencies. I now am more productive in my delivery of product. I may be more productive and generating more revenue for that solution set because I've migrated everything to the cloud, or I migrated everything to this edge cloud with new 5G edge computing, or I migrated everything to Kubernetes and they're all containerized now. And so this may improve my release schedules. This may improve my quality. This may improve my revenues that I can monetize with. And while I'm doing all of that, I'm also doing this for my staff members. And like I said, this could be offshore engineers, this could be outsourced, maybe this could be through various partners and to various customers. And I could say so many hours were allocated for this customer at this per diem rate, and I generated this invoice through partner APIs like Oracle Financials or other partners that are out there. And this could be part of my transformation from IT as a cost center to IT as a value center. So with that, I'd like to open up for any questions. Thank you.